from WMAR-2 News, Maryland's most accurate forecast.
We still have another dry day in the forecast, but we're going to be tracking unseasonably cold temperatures, not only in the morning. Those numbers are going to be ridiculous, but the afternoon numbers struggle to get into the 40s. On top of that, we're tracking clouds that are going to be building in ahead of our next weather maker, which is going to start to impact us very early on Thursday morning, seeing some wintry mix and then some cold rain. On top of that, cold temperatures and breezy winds, just going to make it a messy day to be out and about. By Friday, those showers start to exit, but we're still talking about temperatures that are going to be in the upper 40s. So close to where we should be, just not as pleasant as the numbers we saw just a couple of weeks ago. Let's get through the next 24 hours where this high pressure system starts to break down, and as it weakens, it allows more clouds to filter into our area. You can see moisture starting to move into our neighbors to the west and to the south. That will not make its way into our region, but that rain is going to come early Thursday morning. Our story for the morning is going to be the cold numbers and the wind chill, which is going to be a few degrees. It's going to feel like 31 degrees despite being at 35 by 10 a.m. The numbers struggle to get into the lower 40s. We get to about 41. That's as good as it gets. Those numbers start cooling back down as we head into the evening, but the clouds get thicker. Thinking about stepping out for wind down Wednesday. A red is what we're recommending. Sangiovese is going to be my call, but it is going to be cold as we approach midnight, once again dipping into freezing territory. And I think it's important to understand whenever winter comes around, we talk about the different types of precip, and we know what rain is. Rain happens whenever it's cold at the top, but the ice melts, so we get liquid at the surface. But sometimes we get freezing rain, and what happens is there's a very thick warm layer in the mid-levels that allows for that to melt, and then it refreezes on contact because the surface is just at freezing or below, and then we get sleet, or what you typically see as ice pellets, whenever that warm layer is thicker, so it has time to refreeze before it makes its way to the ground. And then snow is just whenever the entire column of air is below 32 degrees. And what we're looking for is that magic number, 32. And you can see at the surface in Westminster, we're going to be below that 32 at the surface, but above it in the mid-level. So we're expecting this to be essentially freezing rain early in the morning, 4 or 5 o'clock, moving into Parkton and northern Baltimore County. Meanwhile, you can see the I-95 corridor, it essentially acts as a barrier. The further you are to the south and east of the corridor, the better opportunity for you to just get cold rain. And then we're looking at essentially that cold rain starting to dominate as we head through the afternoon. The higher elevations north and west of the city going to continue to see this event go on a little bit longer as freezing rain, which is why we expect more accumulation in those regions. So northern Baltimore County, Carroll, Frederick County, that's where we can see up to a 1/4 inch of ice. We know that when you have that much ice, trees could fall, limbs could fall. That could lead to some power outages. Closer to the I-95 corridor, those totals are going to be lesser. We're talking about 1/100 of an inch to 1/10 of an inch. Still enough to do some damage because these are areas that are more populated. On top of that, we're talking about breezy winds. So you're going to be driving around in this slippery mess, and winds are going to be gusting 20, 25, even 30 miles per hour at times. It's going to be cold, just a nasty day to be out and about. And the wind chills are going to feel like the 20s for the morning, struggling to feel like the mid-30s until the late afternoon, early evening as those numbers start to warm up through the overnight. And as we head towards Friday, those showers start to die out and clear out early. Temperatures rebound closer to where we should be, and then we drop again for the weekend where sunshine dominates. But it's going to be a struggle to get into the 40s, especially Sunday. Clouds return by Monday and Tuesday.